Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Beer Cave. Cue the music. Let's jump right on in. Today we've got another great beer to give you. As you can tell, we have a smaller glass today, which means we're working on a smaller beer today, which I'm really excited about. So let's get right on into it. So today we're looking at Foggy Geezer from War Pigs Brewing. So a little background on War Pigs Brewing. It's a very interesting brewery in the sense that it's actually a collaboration between two different breweries. One out of Denmark called Mikkeller, and the other out of Indiana called Three Floyds. So basically they collaborated together to open up this brewery in 2015. Unfortunately, I don't really know much more than that. I know that they only have 3 beers out in the market that we can get: Lazarite IPA, Salmon Pants Pilsner, and the one we're looking at today, Foggy Geezer Hazy IPA. So looking on their website to kind of give them a little more background, it says War Pig combined the madness of 2 of the world's top breweries in assertive beers to melt your face. So War Pigs has a really aggressive kind of brand to them. It's very in your face metal, very doom metal kind of feel to it. I mean, let's just look at the can. You can see that there's this very interesting I don't really know what that is, but it's really cool. It's like really metal. It's super cool. I really like that. That's really cool. Going around the can, we see Foggy Geezer Hazy IPA on there. Gives us a little description, which I'll read here. It says, a super fruity and dank War Pigs Hazy IPA forged in collaboration between Three Floyds and Mikkeller Brewing. They don't really give you much information because you go to their website and it's kind of the same repeated stuff that doesn't really give you much information, which is fine. But again, really cool can. What I do really like about this can is the entire can is black. You can see it's kind of a wrap, but like even the top is black. Bottom's not, but they definitely went all out on trying to get the branding into this can. So it is a hazy IPA, so again, looking for fruity notes and some bitterness to it. It does come in at 6.8%. They do list the IBUs on the website, which is really nice. IBUs, if anybody doesn't know, stands for the International Bitters Unit. Now again, when we talk about bittering, there is the difference between IBUs and perceived bitterness. So let's start with the IBU scale. The IBU scale starts at 0 and goes to 100, and usually as you go higher in numbers, the more bitter a beer is going to be. Things that are very light, easy drinking are going to typically be in your 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20, even 30 sometimes. And then things that are in your pale ale or IPAs are going to go from 30 to 50 to 80 to even 100 sometimes, depending on how bitter they are. But again, that is the IBU scale, the International Bitters Unit scale. That's not the same thing as perceived bitterness. Perceived bitterness is what you perceive. It's exactly what you think it is. It's something that you perceive as bitter and something that you don't perceive as bitter. So for example, I tell people that the IBU scale doesn't always correlate to the perceived bitterness. Something that is really high on the IBU scale may not actually be very bitter to you because that's the way you perceived it. And that's what I love about beer. It's very up to interpretation of what you perceive it to be and what your tastes are. Don't always assume that something that's high in the IBU is something that's really bitter. That being said, I'm really excited to try this beer, so let's just dive right in. Alright, so right off the bat, a nice silky white head on it. About a finger's worth there. I get a lot of tropical notes, almost like a candied tropical fruit. A little bit of Jimsock, but not, that sweet fruit is really sweet tropical fruit. A little bit of pineapple, a little bit of coconut possibly. Just very sweet candied flavors, like fruit snacks almost. The color, definitely kind of a orange gold color. It's somewhat hazy. I can see a little bit through this glass. Carbonation level is really good. The carbonation is just sticking around for a while. This looks like it's a really solid beer. Let's just go in for a sip. Wow, that is delicious. Holy mother of God, that's good. A lot of those tropical notes roll over right into the flavor. Pineapple, a little bit of like a pine resin to it. Not a lot of coconut, and that sweetness doesn't carry over into the... Oh, excuse me. And that sweetness doesn't really carry over into the flavor. Oh, wow, this is solid. The carbonation is solid. It is bright. It's scrubbing my palate really well. Perfect beer for spicy food. I just want street tacos with hot sauce and this beer. Gosh, it would be perfect for a summer night. Sitting out on the patio, plowing some tacos, plowing this beer, plowing after. And it's funny, actually, as I'm getting through the glass, it was a lot of tropical notes at the top, but there was a slight bitterness to it. But as I'm getting through the glass, that bitterness is actually not striking my palate as much. I think it's because I'm getting used to it. So the bitterness is actually going away a lot more, and it's becoming very clean. A little bit of the tropical notes are falling out, but it's still just, it's clean, it's solid, it's really good. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is a really good IPA. It's just solid. And guess what? It comes in a 12-ounce can. Thank you. Thank you. So that actually brings up a good point. I'm way more likely to have 2 of these than to only have 1 in a 14-ounce can. Hence, I'll buy more because 1, it's really good, and 2, I'll drink them a lot faster than a 4-pack of 16-ounce cans. Can we please go back to 12-ounce cans? I get it, but it's just a lot. Let's go back to the 12-ounce can. Hashtag bring back the 12-ounce can. I love this beer so much. I was a little premature. We hadn't even finished yet. And one thing I really do like too about this beer is the lacing. Lacing refers to kind of whatever's left in the glass after the liquid has touched the glass. So if you're looking at wine, the lacing refers to kind of like the residue left on the glass after you kind of swirl it around in the glass. In a beer, refers to kind of how the head was left or how the carbonation was left on the glass. And I mean, you could also kind of roll it around in the glass as well and see what the lacing is like. It's just a solid lacing. Going into the last sip here, it's a solid beer. The end really brightens up with the carbonation. The tropical fruit flavors do fall out towards the end there, but you get a lot of that hop resin, which makes you very intrigued. And I think that's what I love about IPAs that do this, is that initial first few sips is very tropical fruits, very citrusy, things like that. So it doesn't shock your palate so hard. Towards the middle and the end of the glass, you really get that bitterness and that hop resin. It was great on carbonation, that kind of scrubbed the palate really well, but it didn't have to rely on adding a shit ton of fruit or a shit ton of lactose or a shit ton of gimmicks. So that being said, let's give it a rating. I don't think I have to say much less than it was fantastic. It was the reason why I got into IPAs. It's so solid. I'm gonna get this over and over and over again. It is a collaboration between 2 really, really good breweries, so I wouldn't expect anything less from them, and this beer lived up to who they are and what they're trying to do. Very, very solid beer. The highest thumbs up. This has been Foggy Geezer from War Pigs Brewing. If you've had this beer, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've had it and what you thought of it. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd really, really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you know when I upload a video. This has been another episode of The Beer Cave with your host, Audie Alvarado. And until next time, cheers. Hashtag 12-ounce cans. This has been another episode of The Beer Cave with your host. You're losing it, dude. What is going wrong? Oh my God, what is happening right now? Beer Cave with your host, Audie Alvarado. And until next time.